Welcome back. I'm the Principal Tech. And the last episode, I was talking about Black Tech Twitter
in the tech industry. So I work with employers and opportunity.
Paris Athena, Parashana, she was talking about Black Tech Pipeline. It was all very good and tickety-boo. I was remiss in explaining what I felt that an engineer needed to do if they are new to the industry and they wanted to be a successful engineer, and I guess, and whether it regarding if you were black or otherwise. So I'm actually in the middle of creating a course. I have, and so I'm using I'm using the same slides. So the first rule, that if you really want to learn how to be an engineer or how to get better, is you've got to focus and ignore social media. And the case in point for me, when I started programming, I was young. I was 13, maybe even 12, 13 and 14. And so I learned at secondary school. Family didn't have a home computer, and I used the school computer to learn how to program in BASIC first of all. Then later on, I did eventually get a home computer for my parents. And the one thing that really helped me with programming is focusing and finding a time of day. And in my day, there was no social media, and the biggest problem is that red dot, that notification that you've got incoming TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the lot. You need to switch that right off when you are learning to programming and learning anything. It could be a musical instrument or playing football or playing tennis. You need to focus. And one trick I learned was at secondary school was to go in early. In my day, secondary school ran from 9 o'clock. The first lesson was probably 9:05 or 9:10, and then everybody went home at 3:45 in the afternoon. And I came in to the school at 8 a.m. and went into the computer room. The teacher was so kind enough that I was shown initiative. She gave me the key. I had to tap the door, knock the door, and say to Mrs. Kelly, can I have your key for the computer room? And she would give it to me. I go in there, and there was a load of computers in that room. I would just hack away, and then I would, before the lesson start, just give her the key and just, thank you, Mrs. Kelly. And I did that for weeks and weeks and months, but that extra hour a day, and without distraction, coding, learning BASIC, learning to program loops, subroutines. There were no classes or objects even then. There was certainly no databases, just basic functions, if, then, else, do, while, and the occasional switch statement, I think, was there. Probably not, but definitely go sub and func and nproc to define functions, and even machine code programming was available. But the main thing is that it was a distraction-free zone, and I was there early without any of the kids. There was probably 2 or 3 other guys who might come in and use the computers as well, who were interested in computing. So finding that extra time in your day is super important. So, and therefore you've got to ignore social media. And I've kind of labored the point with the intensify. It's no good just doing the odd thing. One needs to get down and dirty with code, which is why people are interested in deep dives, because that's how you get your memory muscles working. And it's grey matter that you have to exercise here in order to learn the concepts of what is a class, or what is an object, what is a typed function or a monad, or whatever it is you are learning, or what is a lambda or a closure. It's programming languages descend from either Lisp, that is John McCarthy's programming language, which he created in 1958 at the dawn of the computer age for artificial intelligence, and also Fortran 77, which had very much an imperative language. And then we had the BCPL and language of B, then C. Go and look up on Wikipedia. The point is, one has to get down dirty and intensify their learning. And by choosing a programming language which has types, preferably Java. I'm Java biased, but if you learn for Python or learn Scala, then some of the concepts and a lot of the concepts are transferable from one language to another. And it's just the syntax and semantics that will change. Okay, number 3 is your attitude. And I guess I'm also another person who is beaten down on George Lucas. And Star Wars, even if you hate it, has got a lot to answer for, because there are fundamental narrative and truths in there. The attitude for a software developer is that you do it or you do not. You do or do not here means, for me, that you complete your task, your Jira ticket, your project. And if you are learning something as fundamental as objects and classes, you either learn or know what a class is and what are the object instances, or you do not. And if you skip and rush ahead to the advanced chapters thinking that you're clever, or that you're smart and clever, and if you know the difference between smart and clever, then you shouldn't be doing that. Then, and even if you bluff your way through that, then at the interview stage, and if you pair program with me, I will definitely find out that you are missing certain bits of knowledge. And it's not only that, it's that you will struggle to entertain the notion of working with other people's code, namely open source frameworks, if you don't understand the actual concepts of the programming language that you are learning. And remember this attitude: learn to code in Go or don't learn to code in Go. There's no other way. And the same is in Java as well. Okay. And what's the final thing? You really want to avoid case tools. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So a lot of no code. I'm actually going to come out of the slides now, just for a second. So let me jump into no code. Let me search for no code development. And if you do that, let me search, go back, no code. Let me choose something I've already searched before. And then you get a lot of interesting ideas and ads, such as VisiRule is one that I came up, which will essentially try to write code using diagrams. In fact, let me just say I agree. No, it was Appian, which is a kind of solution that people have bought in, even companies. The one that I saw was, I think, Betty Blog, was it not Webflow? So what is no code development? A type of web development that allows non-programmers and programmers to create software using a graphical interface instead of writing code. The no code movement rests upon the fundamental belief that technology should enable and facilitate creation, not be a barrier to entry. So this is the thing that is, I find, questionable. And so if you are a developer, what it's saying, that actually says that you are the barrier to entry. That is that people want to be able to write code without being able to be a coder, or to express ideas of programming without actually programming the code. So, and no offense to people who want to transform their business process, or well, let's have another look at one. There's even low code here. It's, as you can see, it's drag and drop, but you're not actually learning how to code. So let me switch back to the actual slides, because I think you do get the idea. Here we go. What is no code development? Betty Blocks is the one that I did look at before. So if you want to download the white paper, you're welcome to. Betty Block's no code platform is not restrictive in any way. So will no code software replace experienced developers? Well, that's the truth. Can no code development platform build apps that add business value to end users? Yes, they certainly can do it. But my argument would be the alignment of business and IT, bring products to market faster, and this so-called enables citizen development. And so you're welcome to that as well. So this is really what, as a developer, you are up against. So yes, you can certainly invest in case tools and no code, and it could be useful to you, but then you're not actually a coder then, in that sense as well. You are restricting yourself with graphical user interface solutions, whereas if you know how to code, you can actually express your entire ideas through programming, because it's a general purpose programming language that you tend to be using for, instead of, say, a domain specific language. And so coding using a general purpose language gives you all the power in the world. No code does kind of restrict you into what libraries you can use. So imagine if you know Java, then you can use all of GitHub open source Java projects and bring that code into as dependencies into your project for, I don't know, machine learning. Or take an example of Joda time, managing time. Nobody uses Joda time, but a lot of people will use Joda money for financial transactions, because you get the advantage of hundreds of developers in multitudes of companies who have proven a bit of open source that you can bring into your project. And no code doesn't bring you that benefit, because no code is that it's computer aided software engineering tools. Okay, so sorry to harp on. So number 5 is, once you've learned how to code, then by all means you can celebrate. So now, once you know how to code, say in Python or Java or Ruby, or in TypeScript, or you created a React or Angular application, definitely celebrate. Go to social media and promote your story. Like do the 100 days of code thing. Like before, I didn't know how to code. And then 3 months later, I'd written my first Pac-Man game, or for me, Space Invaders. The sensation, the success of manipulating sprites across a computer screen, no code couldn't have helped with that. It really made a difference to, wow, computers can do that. And better still, I could develop and write instructions that make a computer do that. That is what coding is. that is the enlightenment at the end of a journey. So I hope that expands on what I said on Black Tech Twitter. So now it's over to you, and you can catch me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube, and give me a thumbs up if you like this, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.